Hello and welcome to Susie B. Living's Moon Gardening series. So I am here to give you the rest of this week coming up, and that is from Thursday the 20th of June, which is actually today. I'm sorry I didn't get this out last night, but I did mention that today was going to be a Leaves Day on the moon phase calendar, and until Sunday the 23rd of June 2024. So let us go through my little schedule again. First thing is sowing, transplanting, weeding and maintenance, feeding and watering, or any kind of harvesting. And I do it according to the moon phases. Well, I mainly do the sowing according to the moon phases because I get fantastic germination of my seeds and my plants are just healthier, really. I've been doing this a very long time and it suits me very, very much. If you're not interested in actually doing the moon phases, you might just be interested in what I'm sowing for the rest of the week and what I'm growing for the rest of the week. So let's go. So Thursday the 20th of June and Friday the 21st of June, I'm just looking down my calendar, is here, are both Leaves Days again on the moon phase calendar. And I just want to talk to you a little bit about lettuce. So I know I always bang on about Salanova lettuce, but honestly, it is so worth getting this lettuce because the yield that you get from the lettuce is amazing. So I am going to be sowing tomorrow. I'm going to do some sowing of more Salanova. So I've sowed the kind of frise ones, which is Excavo and what's the other one called? Excavo, and it'll be here somewhere. Oh, I can't think of what it's called. Haflex. Sorry, I had a blank just then. Excavo and Haflex. So Haflex is the red frizzy one and Excavo is the green frizzy one. I'm also going to do some Barlach, and Barlach is this beautiful small leaved variety. I will put a picture up on the screen for you so you can have a look at that, and they are just gorgeous. But the other two that I'm also going to do that I do all the time in the summer are Navara, which is an oak leaf. Again, this is my favorite lettuce. Show you there. And the other one that I do in the summer as well is called Canasta, and that's that one there. So I'm going to do about half a dozen of all of these varieties just to keep me going with lettuce. I just finished harvesting the lettuce in the greenhouse over at the allotment that I overwintered. Everything's harvested from behind me in that greenhouse. I've got a few left in the garden in one of the raised beds, so they need to be harvested as well. And then, of course, remember, I have my veggie pod that I have my cut and come, and I'll show you a picture of that as well because that's doing really well. I need to do my first cut of that, and I do think it's actually worthwhile doing a few pots of cut and come lettuce, which is just any lettuce seeds mixed. You sprinkle them very densely and then you cut them as small leaves. They're very fast growing. You don't have to wait for the heads of lettuce to develop. Just, it's a great thing to do. So that is what I will be sowing. The other thing that you can also sow, which I'm up to date with, is spring onions or salad onions. They are always fantastic to do all year round. The variety that I like for the summer is called Entita. It seems to be doing very well. I'm quite happy with it, so that's great. Transplanting, I'm always transplanting lettuce. I've got some red cabbage in front of me just here that needs to be transplanted on. I've got some kale, so I've got over on the allotment I've got my big kale bed, and as I'm harvesting kales I'm putting more kales in, so they're just like spares, always having spares I'll just remind you again, just have lots and lots of spares, because you never know when anything is going to be eaten or it's going to get a disease. So that's my kales. I'm doing all my kind of winter brassicas. They're going in the allotment as well. Kalettes, Brussels sprouts, all of that type of stuff is going onto the allotment. The other thing that you could also do is keep up to date with pots, little pots of coriander, pots of dill, pots of basil. All that kind of stuff is really beneficial to keep doing regularly through the summer. So if you're not going to do it on a moon phase day, on a leaves day, you can do them on just every 2 weeks. Just give yourself a little reminder, oh, I need to sow some, you know, these are the tender herbs that don't last through the winter, and just keep sowing those. And the same with the cut and come lettuce. Again, give yourself a reminder to keep sowing all of that stuff. Weeding and maintenance over at the allotment. I had a look today at the kale bed. It's looking good. I just got to get in between my red cabbages there and give them a little bit of a weed. Just check things over, make sure nothing's being munched. Here at home, what have we got in the garden? We've got lots of spring onions, so I need to just weed amongst those, tidy them up a little bit. The other thing I've also got here at home is my spinach bed, which seems to be still quite good. The Santa Cruz, so this spinach is meant to be a kind of slow bolt, no bolt spinach, is doing really well. I'm actually quite surprised. And I know I mentioned in my video what I was sowing for June, that I would do an extra sowing of spinach. And then I thought, no, I won't do it. But actually, I think I will. I might do another tray of 40 spinach, Santa Cruz, and see how that goes. Yeah. Now, the other thing I'm just looking in the garden is make sure that you're up to date with parsley as well. So look, if you're not sowing seeds, then you can always go to the garden centre, get little pots of parsley, dot them in here, there and everywhere. Because remember, parsley is a biennial. So in its second year, it will go to seed and then it's finished. So you need to get as much out of it in the first year. Don't think that you can actually keep doing it in the second year. It goes a little bit ratty, parsley does. And then feeding, I'm just giving everything a very, very weak multi-purpose feed, and I use the Miracle Grow all-purpose feed. I have it in my Amazon shop below if you're interested in having a look. So that is Thursday, Friday. Saturday the 22nd of June and Sunday the 23rd of June are both fruits days again. So it's a big time to start checking on all of your fruits. For sowing, if you want to sow something, you can still, up until the end of June, sow yourself a batch of dwarf French beans. They're very fast growing, and if you forgot to sow yourself some beans, or you haven't got any beans, you could throw a few in and you will get a decent crop of dwarf beans. But I wouldn't leave it any longer really until the end of June to do that. I need to do another batch because a batch that I sowed rotted. The seeds, I think their seeds were a little bit old, to tell you the truth. So yes, dwarf beans. Okay, and so let's talk about transplanting. If you haven't transplanted all your tomatoes, you can continue doing that. It looks as though here in the UK, and I know that Europe is a completely different story, because in Europe they're having a heat wave, and in the States you're having a heat wave as well. But here in the UK, I think the weather's starting to look up. So that means that if you want tomatoes, put tomatoes outside. You can do sweet peppers outside. I do all my chilies inside because I just feel that chilies do better undercover. And when I mean inside, I mean in a greenhouse. If you don't have a greenhouse, it doesn't matter. You can even do chilies on a balcony or a patio in pots. They're great. The other thing is aubergines. If you're doing aubergines, you can transplant those into their final position. So any kind of fruit like tomatoes, cucumbers, melons, aubergines, all of that type of stuff can be now transplanted into their final positions, either in pots, in the ground, on an allotment, in your garden. in the ground in a greenhouse. They can all be transplanted out now. The other thing that I just remembered is sweet corn. So I've prepared my sweet corn bed over at the allotment, and you know how I was going to cover them with my little polytunnel? I don't think I need to now, so I'm going to put all my sweet corn out as well. They will romp away, so that's good. My beans over, now I'm going to talk about weeding and maintenance. My beans over at the allotment, it's now finally starting to move, so they're starting to twine up the twine, twirl up the twine, so that's good, thank goodness. So they're good, and that's all I've got on the allotment, I think. Yeah. And so feeding, okay, so feeding, it's quite important now to be feeding any kind of pepper, chili, cucumber, aubergine, tomato. Start feeding them. They're very, very hungry. The other thing that you can also feed is give your citrus a summer feed, give your fruit trees a summer feed as well, and just keep things going, because now that the weather's going to start to warm up, especially here in the UK, they're going to start to need a lot of energy. And that brings us to Sunday. So what did I say Sunday was? The 23rd of June. Yay. Today is a summer solstice, by the way, which I don't really want to think about, but I suppose I have to. Yeah, anyhow, the sun's out. See? That's nice. All right, so thank you very much for watching me and for subscribing. If you're new here and you got to the end of the video, then it'd be great if you could subscribe. I take you through every single day of the year of what I am doing, what I'm sowing, what I'm growing, what I'm weeding, all that kind of stuff. Thank you again, all my subscribers, and thumbs up, that'd be really nice. And yeah, I will see you Sunday night. Bye.